Hello friends of Golf Course Quality Fertilizer. Well, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about knowing when to turn on the irrigation system and start watering the lawn. I got myself kind of in a little bit of a pickle, I guess you'd call it, right here, where our grass seemed to grow really fast and now we're like, oh man, it needs to be mowed. And then today is the day I can tell I need to water. So I'm kind of stuck in a spot, and I'm going to talk to you about what you should do in this situation, because I've seen people mow their lawn while it had this situation going on, and they ended up damaging a lot more, and it looks weird and it takes a while for it to come back. So what I'm talking about is when we're going under stress. And so if you can see behind me, the turf, you see like little green spots and some little, like, it looks like purplish or grayish colors across the turf, and that's called fluorescing. That's when the grass is starting to go through a chemical change and it starts to fluoresce that color, and it's actually going to shed those leaves off if I don't get any water to it soon, right? And so then that's when you get these brown areas. We call it dead grass, but it's actually dormant turf, right? It just shedded its leaves off. And so that's the first sign, or one of those signs. And then right on top of that, you'll start seeing footprints. And it's actually kind of hard for me to walk in turf like this, but you see my footprints are staying really well, especially like in this area. I step it up and it's barely moving up at all. It's real slow to move up. So watch this, here we go again. Now see, it's real slow to move up. So there is some water in here, so if I get some down right now, I'll salvage this situation right away. And so what I'm gonna end up doing, rather than normally I do a 3 to 4 hour cycle in each spot, I'm gonna run an hour in each spot real quick, always starting with my first spot that's the dry area, and always working to the spots that look just fine after that. When you have an irrigation system, you could do it 30 minutes in each little spot, and then you can go ahead and mow that turf and you won't end up breaking off all the tops and making it all brown and looking really bad, right? If you water it for about 30 minutes with an irrigation or 1 hour with a hose, then you can mow after that, and then you can go ahead and follow it with a deep cycle. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run an hour everywhere tonight. I'm gonna mow, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do 3 hours in each spot all the way around to get myself to square one again. And I haven't watered since, I don't even remember. So that's great. I mean, we've gone a long time without having to water. I think I watered once in the last 5 weeks. It's been really nice. Temperatures have been good. A lot of yards look really nice right now. Great time to pick off some weeds. Disease pressure has been real low. I have had about 6 cases of people contacting me about some diseases. Most of it was dollar spot. The way that they're getting those diseases is one guy was watering too often. He was watering every day, actually even morning and night, and so he really got a lot of water on that turf and it was staying really wet and it got dollar spot. Another lawn was a young lawn with poor soils, and that happens too, where a little bit of dollar spot was going through, so he had to throw some extra fertilizer down to compensate for that. And another situation, the guy was collecting his clippings every time. So those are the 3 things you want to avoid if you want to avoid diseases. Live on the dry side, just like I'm doing. Now, it's kind of inconvenient sometimes, like you'll come home from work 4 or 5 o'clock at night and you're like, oh my goodness, I can see my dry spots. Go ahead and hit that irrigation. Water the dry spots first. If you can, manipulate your irrigation. So number 1 is always your dry spot. Maybe number 2 is a dry spot. And that way it can go in order and you hit your dry spots first on your irrigation system, like I do with my hose, right? And so that can help you kind of, okay, do it more on demand and manually watch it. Okay, it's drying. I'm gonna hit a cycle, do a short cycle right now, and I'll do a deep cycle in the morning at the proper time. And then you can start watching it for the next time you'll need to water. All right, so I hope those tips help you out. I got to get watering or my turf's going to go dormant. Thanks for listening.